Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. Polina here, talking to you this time. I've just lived through quite a severe fever, so I'm not going to be facing YouTube today, just doing a recording for this reason. So this is a recording for the moon, the new moon in Pisces that is happening on the 27th of Feb. It's already the 25th. And yes, let's talk about this. So the first thing is that we can't really count on a lot. Pisces doesn't have to provide anything. It doesn't want to do anything. It doesn't like us thinking that everything is just going to come from somebody or someplace. And it doesn't expect any fruition. And yes, of course, with these signs like Mercury, with Fortune also, with Saturn, and also some of the North Node and Pisces, people are expecting way too much of this time and they're wanting something else. And sometimes the ego really wants more and more and more, and this is where we have pain, and this is where we have really, really bad, strong stories and feelings. And also sometimes, of course, with the Saturn, people are going to ask for justice. And there's going to be some juvenile behavior because Cancerian Mars is just not so good at things sometimes. And what we basically need to be able to afford is some success that has already come to fruition, or that is quietly sort of trickling through. So the idea is to be a little bit more mellow and less ambitious. For some people, it's going to be very hard to get to know who they are or who anybody is in their story because they're too fixative. They're too fixated on things to be how they want them. So non-attachment is better, even with Saturn approaching Sun, or rather Sun going into the direction of Saturn. And it's going to be very, very hard for some people to say no or to get used to things. It's going to be hard for people to put their foot down. And it's going to be also sometimes very easy to do that by accident and also make some mistakes and break things and do things kind of backwards. So the better choice for people that can't control themselves or that haven't got a center, either you are very, very easily moved and are very emotional this time, or you can't control yourself and wouldn't like anything else but to get things done your way. Cruelty can be very obviously seen this time. If you ever notice cruelty with people that you are working with or chatting to, just go. Like, there's just no point of telling that person, please understand, excuse me, could you please hear me out? You just need to leave it. And also it's really nice to leave people be that have completely disappointed you. Like, if they're sitting there in your head and you're thinking about them all the time, or if you have people in your past that, or even in your current situation, that keep on feeling like these aspects in your life that are not working, or it is good to cut out all of those different feelings, emotions, and energies that are tying you to cycles of cruelty, contradiction, unnecessary pain, vulnerability, and anything of the like. So, of course, Pisces brings around the martyr sometimes, the crook, and sometimes it is just these questions: why did this happen? Why did that happen? Or why can't I still do this or still do that? Like, what's going on or what's wrong with me? So all of these feelings actually really, like, at the base, they're not very proud feelings. They're very good for us to transcend and just allow to exist, if it's really, really hard to purge. But I definitely suggest or recommend, with Pisces being a really good sign for forgiveness and manifestation of totally new dimensions, it's a very nice idea to relax and try to release, maybe circulate some energy, try to get through things, try to breathe through things, be okay that certain things have happened. the way that they have, and if things are the way that they are, and trying to of course respect everybody involved, but certainly if you smell cruelty, if you feel like somebody has done something horrendous and you just can't swallow it down, and there's just no way can you possibly handle a certain circumstance, you will need to really make some sacrifices here. And for certain people, there has to be a very big maybe trick of fate or a big changeover in their game to make it very clear and very real that they're not going to go down a certain track. And for many of us, it is really important that everybody's really safe and very tight with their families or very tight with their loved ones, whoever they are sharing their time with, and to really mean it, that you really want to prepare yourself for a better future and a more creative, more colorful time, rather than spending it in mental or emotional poverty or states of unclarity. So that's a very important point, I feel, to me, is just to know that you really simply don't want to spend more time than you have to in certain situations. There could be, for example, certain facilities like hospitals. There could be certain type of therapies, maybe for some people if they're really caught onto therapies. Any kind of just sadness or wallowing about somebody in the past, any sadness or depression about somebody or some things not being concluded, any kind of feeling like you are walking through a maze and you can't get out. So in some situations, this is actually a very tight little window, a beautiful window to just say no, and it will inevitably leave. So you don't have to be entirely conscious of the changes as well. It's just that you really need to mean it in your heart and your soul, that you don't want to participate in anything that is ugly and just draining and never ending and or woes me, especially if you are, healthy in body, especially if you have a possibility to just make a choice, to intend differently, to just, to say goodbye to the past if you have a certain choice, here that you can have. You have the power of choice, power of will. Definitely don't stay behind and just, let things rot away. Don't, trust people. Also, that say, oh, you'll get through this maybe, if you try this or try that. And, I don't know how to help you. Just leave it. Just make it very clear. If you have power in your body, you can make that choice. And just by you intending what you intend, miracles can happen. So Pisces is also, a very special place of miracle. And there's going to be fortune there during some of the time of the moon being in Pisces. So it's very, very nice to be dependable on yourself. It's really nice to be strong and certain if you have the power in your body to be. And to really feel how good you are and how great you are and how you don't deserve a lot of stuff that has just been pending and things that have been destroying you and your health, or just people that have been cruel or uncivilized with you. And maybe there's like a sense of independence and depression leaving if you really, really care for yourself and who you are, and you have pride in your ancestry, and you have pride in your mission or in your miracles. So like faith healing can happen during this time, and also like a very grand possibility or opportunity to make certain things start over again. But it isn't necessarily about making a new team, a new project, or brand new kind of thing, although some people can actually afford to do something very unique. It just seems to me that a certain something is behind the scenes that is maybe taking you back out of a situation. So it's kind of like removing an obstacle, more than trying to conceive anything from thin air completely. It may be that something wasn't working before, and through prayer or through medicine or through just some gifts, it is no longer obstructed. So for example, you had a plan, it wasn't going ahead because you were missing an ingredient. You were not feeling strong enough or well enough before, or you didn't have enough finances, so you weren't prepared enough to do something earlier. And now Pisces can basically tell you how you can do it, or maybe you will receive a natural upgrade that will help you unblock and achieve. The focus, however, is not just bold achievement, because bold achievement is the worst case scenario in Pisces, because nothing is meant to be bold and strong and sturdy in Pisces, because it's the opposite of Pisces. That's more when we get to Aries, so save it for later on. It's not about bold, stingy, stern achievement. You won't be able to get anything here. I mean, it's kind of like wanting rain in the desert, so like the stern and sturdy feelings that sometimes people have are just past of an old issue. It could be something between family members, it could be something in the ancestry or in the gene pool. They're just a grudgy old, sturdy old thing. And the best we can do sometimes is not to necessarily complain about it, but just get it out of you. Being super stubborn and super learned and, guess who I am here, and you can't tell me what to do, and, all of this, just toxicity, just pure toxicity. If you're noticing that people in your life or you yourself have developed certain toxic traits and it just keeps on going round and round in this grumble, it's very, very likely this is going to stay for many years. And I trust that you don't want this, because this is more a burden than it's worth. Maybe it makes you feel important and up to date. Maybe it made you feel once like you were in control of your reality, or you really knew what you were talking about. But even though sometimes crumbliness is seen as a sign of importance and some kind of intelligence, by some people it is seen as some kind of a superior trait. You'll be surprised. And it looks like somebody serious and stern is very lucky or very efficient, very sleek, very knowledgeable, but it's actually like a very doubtful energy, and it's very green. And when you get to higher vibrational levels of people that are more aware, they'll lose that eventually, because even if they kind of start with this existential crisis, and people through their evolution go through many windows, many phases, many fairy tales, they do sometimes eventually get to this point of what's the point of anything. So this sort of nihilistic or very sort of existential, moody thing can sometimes happen for a long time. A lot of poets have that, artists, it's actually a very worthless state eventually when we create nothing else but that gloomy sort of broody energy. It eventually gets to us and we start to die. The body cells start to die and we start to slowly decompose. So why the laughing Buddha? Why laughter is considered sacred in the East, for example, is because they kind of solved it. If you get too serious, you get dry. You just dry up. That's it. There's nothing. There's no soul left in the body. And what basically happens then is the person just tries to squeeze out even the last bit of laughter from their body, from their soul, to keep their aura clear, to protect their body from disease, to try and at least, feel something, which is where people really kind of are dead, well, they die, but they're reborn because that cycle finishes, So this sort of super serious, super celestial, super, prophetic and smart cycle actually turns out to be pure shadow, where one thinks that their intelligence is above life and such. So the health decreases definitely for people that have been treated too seriously and that have also been too kindly to the idea of talent and thought and evolution and intelligence. So all of these different farts, all of those different farty human ideas can actually bring old age and can twist the body. So that's the thing, is just not to get so serious and to forget about how life maybe has treated you, and to leave alone and just let go of all the serious stuff, all the stuff on the news, all the criminal stories on TV, all the mad people on the street, all of this kind of nihilistic scarcity, and then walk towards a different route. So what I like about Pisces, as I do about Virgo as well, it's kind of like a trickling river, and it's just like, okay, look, just here's the exit point, here's the turnoff, take this one, and then this one, you're out. Okay, here's this, and you're out of the woods. Just go here, through the door, another door, out of the woods. So that's the thing, is the clear thinking returns in Pisces. Also, we're lucky to have Mercury there, even though he's in a tricky position close to Saturn. It's a very, very nice deep return for some people. It's going to be a very, very clear harvest. I'm seeing quite a lot of people getting pretty lucky actually and manifesting super well next month. So I've already prepared the audios for Patreon some weeks before for March. So there's going to be a very nice and deepening feeling, and a lot of that depression and despair and frustrating behavior of oneself and other people is just going to go, and there's going to be a lot of moistening and a lot of opening of that which has been to, wonderfully sort of like air things out and bring a new vision, new philosophy, and a new luster to the next cycle of time, as we are beginning the year in March as well in Aries. So I suppose like what to dream now. Let's go to the lighter, more sparkly notes of this particular time, as people may have to do quite a lot for you. Maybe you have people that you know that need to help you. Some people are owed an understanding. Some people owed a point. Certain people really like one another. Certain people don't. There's a very fascinating stuff happening with social psychology and how people do not care for one another and who everybody is. And it's very easy to see how certain people do or do not move amongst themselves, and how different groups make themselves into sort of formulas and question marks, and what for certain other people and groups don't, So we see a lot of maybe divide, some animosity, but also some repetitive patterns and recognition of human truths, maybe not even so human truths. And then we recognize what for certain people have done something and why they are or are not in the position where they have been. And in a sense, there's also some luck, of course, with this trine between Pisces and Gemini, Jupiter there. And there's going to be always a forevermore feeling, meaning some things are going to be sparkly and lucky, and there's going to be an imprint of that throughout the life. There's going to be a new law or rule, or there's going to be a new constant or development that may be left over for many years to come. So people may be starting to show up again for certain people. Maybe there's going to be a more permanent culture or group activity, or a tighter, more solid, more crystalline, more sort of threaded weaving of people. So if you are starting to see there's a more direct conversation with somebody, or there's a more permanent feeling, when you're looking at someone, there's going to really have to maybe mean a lot to you now, to participate in something of somebody's life. If you are also noticing that some people are just to no avail, important, or they can't be, or there is like a shutting off as soon as you start talking, they just gone and they're not online anymore. It's really also ecstatic as well, because it means that your social psychology or your groups have divided, and your interest in them has diminished, or their souls are just going in different directions. So it's going to be a very wild display for some people in terms of social wealth and social abundance, and for certain people in certain countries and places in the world, there's going to be a very deep need for sorrow and forgiveness as well. But there's going to be maybe also a treasuring of a new plan, or several new plans and ornamentations of how the usually rigid and symbolic plans are going to go to work, or if they won't have to go to work anymore. So some of this is really right at the center of human consciousness. So I'm seeing definitely a wealth of social groupings and a very big new device happening during this particular moon, and such. There's going to be also a very, very big, I suppose, maybe even needed, sad change. Some things have to really, really fail to go to the next level of expansion. So there's going to be maybe a bit of drama during this particular time, and it's important to hold each other safe and to be still sometimes, just to make sure that everything is going well. But of course, different places in the world have a different picture to paint during this time. And on the general, I mean, what we want to do is we want to improve the cause and effect of our lives. I can see how people get really stressed out and kind of torture us during this time of the year, of course, because they believe that the year has begun, and in January they still can't believe they're not doing that bigger deal, and they should never have tried to do that bigger deal during the end of the year that they think is the beginning. But the main difficulty I'm feeling, also I'm seeing in people in the presence and the energy, is that there is this kind of gold mine of something that is still not here. Like, I'm expecting this, I'm expecting that, like life didn't deliver. And I feel that it actually has come to a closure a while ago, and it kind of never had to deliver us anymore. It's like expecting a tree to bring more fruit when it has already done that. It's already gone to fruit, and now it's at the end. It's like almost like knocking on the tree, hey, get me more fruit, but like the weather has changed and the pattern has gone in a different way. And the more we push ourselves, as well, like to be 100% productive all year, every year, or the more we push ourselves to, make love all the time, and compete all the time, and commute and travel all the time, it just destroys everything. It destroys all the natural algorithms. So the best thing to do, if you can help it, I know this is hard to take as advice for many people that live in the modern world, but taking as much space as possible during especially Pisces is probably the best thing. And words that I could share is probably not enough, honestly, because there's nothing I can do if people are stuck in these very repetitive, very robust and chaotic cycles. But if you can possibly do it sometimes for you, is like take as much time off, like take a month off if you can. I mean, if you can't, I understand. But, there needs to be some kind of a sacred, like lucid sort of in-between dimensional sort of dreaming time where you can just sort of care for yourself and speak to your soul and embody yourself a little better. Just try to feel what it's like just to have a body, get into your hands and feet and move them around a little bit and do something maybe a little bit meaningless maybe at first glance. Just being fine with the normal moments and relaxing into just very, very mild and safe spaces and just kind of letting oneself be an innocent sort of baby, sort of feeling like I don't know, a little bit sort of even not necessarily sad, but just surprised. So how does a baby look at the world? Just like opening his eyes, it's just, this is weird. Allowing oneself to sort of let go of anything and everything. If you have the most karma right now, would probably be if you have a lot of illness, if you have also a lot of debts, if you have people that you can't trust or people you can't forgive, if you have a lot of anger. It would be also really nice to see who it is that is constantly coming to mind. So if you have a lot of issues and if you have a lot of hatred, depression, or you just really just out of it, means that you really may want to find the best way to try to pray this off, or to go to a church or spiritual site or anything like that, to just try to just let this out of your body. Like, so I know that people are like, oh, new moon, I can do new things. If you are carrying crap around, like, what you want to do is damage control, which means anything and everything you can do to make sure that certain things don't happen or are not happening ever again. So this is the main thing. And even if you have everything right, sometimes it pays to do something to protect yourself further. So this is like insurance, making sure that bad things don't happen to you, making sure everything is smooth and straightened out, and of course making it very clear that you're not going to do something again that you may have done that may have potentially caused a certain crisis or a certain cycle that you've been in lately. Recently. So definitely what else would have to be, let's go to the opposite side. What if everything is beautiful and true and the world seems very addictive and very exciting, and maybe it's hard to hold back your feelings or your tongue? Sometimes there are certain people that feel very good during this time. They feel successful. They feel like they've succeeded, they've done their homework, or there's a feeling of celebration. They can also be fine, that's great, it's up to you to decide. The better choice is just to enjoy it, let those feelings come in. Sometimes the joy is the joy that makes you feel weak at the knees, that makes you feel like there's spring in the air, or that something magical is happening. And these feelings are also very true, although they're quite unique. Not every person is capable of feeling these feelings after a certain time. But if you are feeling those feelings, they may mean something else to somebody else, So also it's easy to feel jealous for somebody else, for example, who doesn't know how to feel those beautiful feelings, that beautiful love. So definitely there are certain people that just feel this unquestionable richness of love. And this love is very, very special, and it's very multi-dimensional, and it's multiverse type of love. And it really, really kind of sucks sometimes we don't understand it, and we don't know what it is. And sometimes people don't see it past a certain age, So this is very young, this is very trembling, and this is very, very gorgeous. And these people really already know that, and they don't have to even say anything anymore, tell anybody anything. because it was always inside, so some people can get back into that place that maybe they've lost when they were children. I've actually recently explored a couple of people that have been returning to that place, which has been really exciting to see. So that feeling of innocence and fullness and happiness and amazingness coming back into your life is also a very worthy plan, a very worthy space, and maybe it will help you grow so much more than any kind of reading ever would, because that's when people feel kind of like their flowers gently swaying under the moon, and there's like a feeling of purity and happiness and just this graciousness and gratefulness and feeling like God is everywhere. So this feeling of magic is very important, and it's loving because it just comes from nowhere, and it is for just the fact that it is, so this is the purity of it. It's not to manifest anything, it's nothing too ambitious, it's not about being somebody, it's not about calling in true love or I don't know, being a phoenix or being Gaia or anything. It's not about being someone. It's not about being the prophecy or anything silly like that. It's just like a feeling, and the feeling of omni-innocence is kind of like when you just feel all of it sort of trickling through you like water. So if you can imagine, you are like a chalice of sorts, and you're just feeling like this prana or this soul or this ether, turning within you, through you. So this is like the liquid universe. And just kind of caring for it, and just like, wow, how nice it is to have a body, like how like just how, wow, it doesn't really have a word. It doesn't really have anything to do with words. There's just this sort of like echo of everything and anything and everyone within one soul. So these are very highly holy energies. They just have to do with the other planes. A lot of them, have to do with multiversal sort of perspective of reality, so this is very, very omnicorrect, and people don't really understand when that happens, so sometimes, although I'm talking about social society sort of based unity, and I'm sort of talking about friends and groups, if you have also got this is great, but in some cases, people don't understand it. So when they're looking at a person experiencing an omni-purity, or like this complete, this absolute innocence, or this angelic joy, you see, there is something else that comes with that for this. And to do this or that doesn't matter. I feel that the best thing is not to care so much about what another person would say, and not to definitely try to teach anybody, because that's an ungrateful job. It's probably going to be much better for all of us to just try to reach those states within our souls if we can. It's harsh to try to kind of steal them from children, for example. Kids feel this a lot. It's not about, taking it from their auric field. It's like, how did you make that laugh, or why are you so happy? It's just about learning to generate the state by yourself without vampirism, and learning to lean on these states more. So these are positives. It's not about being positive. It's not about being positive and super functional or anything like that. It's just it's not positivity. It's a very special relationship to how one is feeling in this one very, very special lucky moment. This is nothing to do with manifestation or bringing someone into your love life, or learning how to do some yogi stuff is just a kind of a more evolved way of feeling, you know. And what basically, I mean, I'd like to do is not necessarily need to think about it or feel it. It just is kind of like I kind of feel like it's trying to make me want to explain it, but I don't want to explain it because it's almost like opening like a beautiful, clean, holy book and then trying to like put it on the internet. It's just I just don't want to. So I'll just hint at it, and then I'm just gonna stop with explanations because it's just too clean a subject to put on the internet. Yeah, it's too clean. So I suppose what else I suppose with this moon is just to try to get to some kind of a space of innocence and childishness. It is nice to erase the past. It's nice to not look forward to any kind of negativity, sadness, shyness, or neglect. Trying not to look forward to the madness, to get out of any kind of violent displays, any kind of TV, alcoholism, looking for trouble constantly, like trying to get away from anything that is looking for trouble, anybody cruel or pessimistic. And then just like walking right away from probably most of the things that are avoidable. Any obstructions that you could have avoided, some obstacles are going to be cleaned out by themselves and lifted by themselves. Certain things you really don't need. Some people are going to themselves forget about you. You don't have to fight them out of your life. And relationships will start to be easier and more promising. And for some people, a certain wish or a gust of wind will just help them simply change territory. So will magically kind of hyperblast them into different spaces and states of respect or different consciousness. So, I mean, the vision is yours to paint. How you paint it is yours. It is a very colorful month, of course, with Pisces being the weaver of dreams. Sorry for my drab voice after my week and a half in bed. Almost, yeah, just like a week. Anyway, thank you so much, you guys, for signing up to my channel. If you like, have a look at my Patreon. I will be posting the month ahead audio for you, and all the signs, all the star sign readings that are 45 minutes each, 45 minutes each, are on Patreon. I put fresh ones up every month, and also I do a lot of extra stuff over there constantly. So yeah, if you're interested, have a look, and thank you very much again for your time and attention. Bye bye.